This big bruiser beside me is the latest offering from Kia, the EV9 GT line, and its only comparable rival is the near $200,000 Mercedes-Benz EQS 450 SUV. It gives the Carnival a run for its money with its space and luxury trimmings, and despite being an upper large electric SUV, it looks and feels more like a people mover, because like seriously, it ain't small. It hosts 7 seats and 4 ISOFIX anchor points, and if that's piquing the interest of any families out there, just you wait. In this video, I'm going to show you what the EV9 does well and how it's fared after a week with my family of 3. There are 3 variants available for the EV9, and our test vehicle is the flagship GT line model, which will cost $121,000 before on-road costs, making it the most expensive Kia to date, with the top spec Carnival costing just shy of $68,000. So is it worth the $53,000 price difference? Let's find out. It's almost a case of what doesn't this model come with, because it is well specified and quite plush on the interior with 2 sunroofs and heated front seats that also feature ventilation function. You get a heated steering wheel, and the rear middle outboard seats also get heat and ventilation functions. The technology looks gorgeous with this curved panel housing 3 separate screens, dual 12.3-inch touchscreen multimedia system and the digital instrument cluster, as well as a 5-inch quick look climate control panel. There's a few luxy extras like the relaxation mode on the seats, as well as a massage function on the driver's side. Besides a few obvious engine specs and a couple of features in here, the Carnival does have most of these items. But the full specs are in my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au if you need more info. Well, it's boxy looking, and to be frank, it looks like a Lego car on steroids for me, but it certainly turns heads. I've had more looky-loos looking into the window of this than any other car I've had. Once you get over its square shape, it does have quite a few cool design features though. I really like the flagship exclusive pixel LED lights at the front, as well as the matte blue paintwork. It just feels like velvet underneath your hands, as well as the cool black 21-inch alloys with their aerodynamic covers. The nose looks wide set because of the positioning of the tall headlights and this strangely blank panel in the middle. I actually really like some of the features on it with the auto flush door handles and the big dark windows, but the digital side mirrors are not for everyone. You do get used to them as a driver though, which is good. It just basically looks like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. The ambient lighting is customizable and everywhere. Even the Kia logo on the steering wheel is illuminated. I really like how the paneling and the ambient lighting creates a cool 3D effect on the dash and in these little indents on the floating console. And the 2-tone premium synthetic leather seats really elevates the interior. It is a large car and I have heaps of room up front, but it does feel a little bit van-like because of the floating console and how high the seating position is. I also didn't find that I could find a driving position where I didn't feel like I was sitting on top of the car, but other than that, it's very comfortable. The electric front seats are extremely comfortable, like business class comfort. Not that I would know, but I do imagine it to be this way. When you recline them back and pop on the Sounds of Nature feature and have the massage function going at the same time, it's like being in a day spa. It's glorious. And waiting for my son to get out of school each day has been rather pleasant. Individual storage up front is fantastic. You get this massive storage cubby in the center console, as well as a large glove box which curiously has a narrow aperture, as well as retractable cup holders in this handy utility tray and 2 drink bottle holders as well. Charging options are really good up front with the choice of a 12-volt port, 2 USB-C ports and a wireless charging pad to choose from. The steering wheel is a bit boxier than normal, but still nice to use. I did find from my driving position though that it cut into my view of the quick view climate control panel. I kind of felt like I was looking around it a lot this week. The touchscreen multimedia system is responsive and easy enough to use, but I didn't actually like this little control panel here. I found it to be a little bit hard to read in certain lights. Other than that, I liked that it had satellite navigation and that the head-up display pulls through the directions. It also has wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto too. You get so much room in this middle row that you could comfortably fit 3 adults side by side. Middle rowers will also be very happy that the floor is flat, and the seats themselves are really well cushioned, but like a typical SUV, you sit on top of rather than in them. Families will be really excited about the amenities in this row. I've already mentioned that the outboard seats have heat and ventilation functions, but you also enjoy climate control, directional air vents, 2 USB-C ports, and reading lights back here. My 7-year-old really enjoyed how easy it was to get in and out of this car. He also liked having retractable sunblinds to cut out the glare of the sun, and I just think in general the storage is very good in this row. You get 2 map pockets, 4 cup holders, 2 bottle holders, as well as a deep but narrow little storage cubby in the front center console. There are ISOFIX child seat mounts on the outboard seats, plus 3 top tethers. The seat is wide enough to accommodate 3 seats side by side, and there's plenty of room for front passengers when you install a 0 to 4 rearward facing child seat too. Families will be happy because there are 2 ISOFIX child seat mounts and 2 top tethers back here. I would probably reserve this row for older kids still, just because you won't want to be climbing back here to buckle in a child. The third row isn't too bad on space, and I do have enough room for my 168 centimeter height if you push the middle row forward a little bit. I wouldn't want to be extra tall though for this space. I do like though that third rowers aren't forgotten. You do have quite a few amenities back there. You have directional air vents and reading lights on the roof, as well as 4 cup holders and 2 USB-C ports. I think my favorite feature though is how wide the windows are. It doesn't feel claustrophobic back here. When you have all 3 rows in use, you get 177 litres, which was plenty for my day-to-day errands. You can bump it up to 333 litres. That's not as large as some other SUVs on the market, but it is again adequate for your everyday use. I like that you've got a level load space in this and a tyre repair kit, but you also get a 52-litre front storage space at the front for cables and the like. It's also always handy having a powered tailgate. The EV9 is a fully electric all-wheel drive with dual motors, one located at each end of the car. It has a maximum power output of 283 kilowatts and 700 newton meters worth of torque. It has a big capacity lithium-ion battery of 99.8 kilowatt hour. This has a Type 2 CCS port, and on an AC 11 kilowatt charger, you can expect to get from 10 to 100% in just over 9 hours. On a DC 50 kilowatt charger, you can see that time drop to about 83 minutes to get to 80%, or 23 minutes on a 350 kilowatt charger. You also have a vehicle to load capability in this, so you can charge larger appliances while on the go. Hello, camping. It's also really powerful and can do a 0 to 100 kilometer sprint time in as little as 5.3 seconds. Pretty impressive given how heavy this is and that it has a braked towing capacity claim of 2.5 tons. The official energy consumption is 22.8 kilowatt hour, and I was just under that at 21.4 kilowatt hour, which is a solid result, especially since I did mostly open road driving this week. It has a good driving range of up to 505 kilometers, and that just takes the sting out of any range anxiety you might have. Surprisingly, for a large SUV, this feels most at home in an urban environment. It's nimble and easy to maneuver in the city, and zippy even, but it's a totally different story when you hit the open road. I didn't like how it handled itself at higher speeds. And I think that's attributed mostly because of the floaty feeling suspension, but there's a lot of movement in the body and it can feel cumbersome in turns where there's a lot of roll. Other than that though, the cabin is quite pleasant to be in because it's so quiet. You don't get a lot of road or wind noise in this, which is great. Whenever I was a passenger in this, the digital side mirrors gave me a lot of motion sickness. They don't bother me when I'm driving, which is great, but even my husband, who has an iron stomach, commented on how distracting they were for him. This has a 12.4 metre turning circle, but it's a very easy car to park because of the clear 360-degree view camera system and the front and rear parking sensors. The only thing I didn't like is that you can't access the front camera when you're in reverse, which is a little bit annoying when you're navigating a tight car space. There are some sensitivity issues with some of its safety tech though, like the driver attention monitor doesn't always activate when you have sunglasses on, and the lane keeping aid is quite aggressive, which makes for a jerky on-road experience. The adaptive cruise control is also just not that nice to use because the car slows down way too fast when you're approaching your car in front, even on the shorter distance setting. I also don't like all the warning alerts that are linked to the traffic sign recognition tech. It's just a bit too annoying for my liking. In better news though, the EV9 was just awarded a maximum 5-star ANCAP safety rating and has 9 airbags, including curtain airbags that cover all 3 rows and side chest airbags on the middle row. Usually you only see those on the front row, so that's pretty good for a family car. My written review at carsguide.com.au will go into more detail on the safety specs if you need more info. The EV9 comes with a 7-year unlimited kilometre warranty, and the battery is covered by a separate 7-year or up to 160,000 kilometre warranty. It is usual to see an 8-year battery warranty though on EVs. You can pre-purchase a 3, 5 or 7-year servicing plan, and the 7-year plan costs $1,997 or an average of $285 per service, which is great. Servicing intervals are more in line with a fuel-based car though, at every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres, whichever occurs first. The Kia EV9 GT line earns some serious family points with how practical and luxuriously appointed the cabin is. Each row gets ample amenities and space, and you can't discount its ability to fit 5 child seats. But it is expensive, and I don't like how its driving experience is a bit mixed for me. But if you're looking for a large electric SUV that will fit a big family, this certainly ticks that box, and it gets a 7.9 out of 10 from me. My son thought this looked really cool and loved all of his amenities in the back too, so he gives it a 10 out of 10. If you're after more details, check out my detailed written review at carsguide.com.au, and I'll see you next week.